I'll start with strenuous. How's that for a good word? Chris, you got one? Bill, we're coming to you next.
Moist.
It's a personal one. All right.
Water runoff.
You all right?
Arthritis. Humidity.
Roof leak.
Rain.
I like water. What was that? What was
Water.
it? Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing.
Deep freeze.
Interface.
Ah,
Yeah, wrestling.
all right. Good turn.
Break.
All right.
Cotton balls.
Lose at 10 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Accumulation.
Stimulation?
Accumulation.
Oh, accumulation. Sorry for my French, but damn groundhog.
All right.
Sounded like English to me. So it sounded like English to me.
Yeah.
Rain.
Rain. Certainly a theme, isn't there? I noticed the Corps of Engineers, they're saying over the next 7 days, there could be a water accumulation event in Nashville. I used the word accumulation, or I thought,
Is that called
I
a flood?
thought that's a flood. But they called it a water accumulation event. I thought, okay. Okay. How about vendors you've worked with? Shout out, shout at. I'll just start. We rented a truck from Penske Truck. We needed one with the lift gate, the one with the West Nashville office. Great to work with, flexible, the inevitable, we got a tax exempt form, the thing that we all go through. They dealt with it flawlessly. So the Penske in West Nashville was a great place to rent a box truck. Who else have you used? Good morning. Who has done you right or done you wrong? This is a way for us to share wisdom and experience that we want something that's really valuable with SFM.
Dock Air, like if you got an air quality issue,
Yeah,
very responsive, right out. Results within 2 days.
wow, great. Like an inward air quality.
Like an M-word,
Okay,
or, moisture starts with M, right?
yeah.
Humidity.
I used CRD roofing for my house to do roofing repair, and I'm also going to be using them at Safe Haven. They're just really great prices, great people, very responsive. And CRD, yeah. A friend of mine who owns a roofing distribution company here
Yeah,
put me onto them, and so I recommend them. I can send that info if you're interested. Repairs are always challenging to find good people.
that's right. Yeah. Good. What else? Yeah, Greg.
Carter Group, just finished up our pavilion repairs.
Yes.
They were very, very good.
Nice. What did they do that was so outstanding?
Just the way they performed, everything supposed to be done was done properly. They got in there, got out. Any issues, they took care of them. Bill and I did a walkthrough with them yesterday. There's a couple things on the punch list, but overall, they're outstanding.
Fantastic. And that was maybe a what? How many $100,000 project?
Couple $100,000.
Couple hundred. So you think Carter Group would do that for anybody, or did they just do it as a favor to Holy Family? A project that size?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I can't.
All right. Well, Carter Group, if you've got more than a remodel, but a reconstruction or a build out, they do, of course, big build outs. The new St. Michael's, St. Teresa campus they did. So they do big projects, but good shout out.
On a scale, this is probably a small project for them.
Yeah, probably so, yeah. But still,
Still,
quality work.
yeah.
Fantastic, good. What else? Who else did you right or did you wrong?
Shout out Kenny Pipe.
Yes.
We ordered a water heater that was supposed to be in on Thursday, and we ended up canceling the order on Monday because we had to find a new source for it.
They cheapened first.
Huh?
They're cheapened first.
Well, they were still $200 cheaper than where we found it. We found it at a small company. Not a shout at, but a shout out was Eastern Supply. A small pipe supply company over off West Virginia.
Wait, so Kenny is a shout at? Ah,
Yeah, they just lost track of it. They didn't know where it was, when it was gonna get in. They kept telling us different times. So we finally had to
Terrible.
debate.
Good.
and the shout out was,
Eastern Supply. I think they do a lot of bucolic supplies and, for sprinkler pipes and bigger PVCs. They have a lot of big PVC. Some specialty items that, you know, everybody's got their own niche.
Yeah. Good morning. Might have to grab a seat right here. 2 seats here.
This would be a Pat sandwich.
Another shout out.
I'll throw one
Yeah.
out, since they're in the room with me. So you guys know I'm an MBA, I oversee the $100 million wellness center, right?
Yes.
Been there a year now. The number one building system of that building that was poorly installed, done wrong, and issues galore was the doors.
Okay.
Be it the hardware, the install, all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna give a big shout out to Bill Overton. Justin's in the room with us too. The amount of door work that we've done there is tremendous.
Wow.
Stuff, doors not even where they could lock secure to the frame. We had to do this special metal cap project to prevent these super duper big, 8-foot tall wooden expensive doors from ripping apart from kids yanking on them and stuff, so. And, you know, Bill could add to it, I'm sure, but we've done tons of door work there. Bill and his team has been stellar, and working with access control, it's the most complex building on campus with access control and such, so Bill and his team have been awesome. And I'm gonna give another shout out to my man Ed Burke over here. We recently, we got this cafe, a lot of coolers, a lot of equipment, and it's all newer style refrigerant, that propane style. So we had to scrap metal a cooler a few months back because it quit working, and the mechanical vendor that I had look at it said, hey, it's condemned, you gotta replace it. Well, that's like $5,000. So I wish I would've had our peeps look at it first, because we had a similar scenario pop up. Ed came looking at it, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks in parts or something, half a day of Ed's time, and what do you know, the thing's working again. And it not being cleaned right, serviced, so we've got some plans for this next summer, some PMs for all the coolers on campus, trying to find those little pieces of equipment that aren't being serviced, aren't being inspected, and trying to maintain them, just to keep food service, and they're again Sage Dining Services, who we partner with, keeping them happy.
Yeah.
You know, they're contracted out like we are, so props to some of our own people and helping take care
Who
of
was the service provider that diagnosed it first?
A vendor we work with a lot out there at NBA, and I don't always get their ace of a technician, and y'all know how important that is sometimes to get somebody who makes no assumptions and doesn't start getting into parts and pieces before trying to tinker with it a little bit.
I just wonder if I use the same people, that's why I'm asking.
Probably so.
You don't wanna give their name out loud, you don't wanna do something, okay.
They do a lot of great work. You guys know how dependent it is to get a good technician.
Yeah.
And for them to not be in a hurry and trying to run to the next job and give something time.
Who did the door installation on the building itself?
That was actually McCarthy Jones, I believe is who, I'm gonna look at Bill. McCarthy Jones did all the install at the wellness center from what we
They
know.
sold them all to them. I don't know the builder, the storefronts were a different company, I
Yeah.
don't remember the name of them, but all the doors are top-notch doors with, wood with concealed vertical rods and chases built in the doors for the wiring and the rods. There's nothing surface mounted on the building. It looks real nice, but they're more finicky.
And you can imagine 800 young men in an athletic facility.
That's right.
They're rough on everything. I've seen them drop kick crash bars and stuff. So, we repaired things and have done a lot of one and done projects that have definitely helped.
We've had air handling problems that doors would stand wide open. And we turned the closure down so strong that when the air is off, the doors will knock you down. Just to get them to close, and it took a lot of effort on Tyler's part to get
Get that done.
HVAC and anybody engineers in to figure out why it was so bad. There were things that were turned off and things that never shut up.
Let
They
me-
opened that building during COVID.
Let me just dovetail a little bit on what Tyler said, though, about the door division. You're right, phenomenal. We're gonna actually spend some time talking about that today. A couple door division issues. We've tried to, we did electrical last meeting, if you remember. We did some arc flash education. We're gonna do some key plan education today and how to keep that key plan safe. SFM is an interesting organization because we have several entities that we're trying to keep together, right? And work together well. As managers, you see the world from your perspective, as you should, that's what we want, all right? The perspective of our technicians is sometimes different. Matt Davis, who you know, Matt was with the door division, or is until very shortly. Matt is gonna take a job in Clarksville, and one of the reasons he lives in Clarksville, it's a closer commute, that's 90% of the problem. But the other part of it is the struggle to get 40 hours of work each week. Bill really works hard to try to get Matt and Justin the 40 hours, and sometimes he'll not take those hours, himself, so that everybody else can get the 40 hours. But that's the tension, right? We try to have enough technicians so that when managers and campuses need help, we can get them when you need it, right? But when we're slow, man, it's a real tension on our technicians to think, Matt's got a family of, I think, 4 kids, and it's really hard for him to be stressing about, am I gonna get my 40 hours? So I'm just gonna use it just as a way to make sure as managers, you understand that dynamic, the dynamic of a technician. And as a company, we do all we can to try to make sure managers have enough technicians to get the work done in a timely basis, but we can't have too many, because then we all stand around, look at each other and say, what do we do? We don't have any work. So it's a hard balance, and if we don't get it right, I think that's part of why Matt is taking the job up in Clarksville, is we just couldn't give him the confidence that we'd get him that 40 hours. So more than once you see that email that goes out and says, we need your help keeping somebody busy with a project. I don't want you to invent work. I don't want you to waste your customer money at all, right? They're serious and important. There are serious and important partners, and we want to maintain that partnership with them. However, just understand, we don't throw those emails out lightly. It's because we really have folks who don't have work. So that's part of that tension, right? It's not a problem to be solved. It's just a tension to be managed, and that's what we try to do. And we need to hear from you if we're too slow responding. If a trade is so busy they can't get to you on a timely basis, I need to hear from you. Michael needs to hear from you. We need to hear that so that we know the tension is, how do we manage that? So anyway, just a heads up, I'm gonna dovetail on what Tyler said, but you're right, a phenomenal door division. We're gonna get us another great door technician here to fill Matt's place, and we'll be back to full speed, but
I'll dovetail on that too. We chart work hours so that, we see what's happening. You could see August and September doing this, July, August, and September, and then it starts as gradual, and now we're down in the lowest part of it in end of December, January. And we're struggling to find this time of year, every year, work for those technicians that we're trying to keep employed so that we can get that work done. And it all hinges on the managers spacing that work out and trying to find work in the low season.
yeah. So anyway, it's just important that you understand what's happening in other parts of the company. So okay, some campus announcements. Anything you want to announce? Greg said the fire ravaged large outdoor pavilion at Holy Family's been repaired, fixed, replaced. That's awesome. What else we got going on your campuses we need to know about? Ricardo just brought a bunch of used kitchen equipment from the Bellmead Kroger. The business manager won the auction, some auction items, and he just hauled a bunch of gigantic, heavy kitchen equipment to St. Matt's. So that was kind of interesting. What else we got going?
In March, we're getting a drop arm installed here on the entrances of our campus. So
Interesting.
Next time you guys show up here, you'll probably have to type a pin in.
So that's what it'll be, a PIN number.
Well, they're doing a license plate reader, and also if that fails, they're gonna do a PIN system. But I was
Okay.
told that they may give SFM like a group PIN.
Yeah.
Will it be attached to the card system as well?
I don't have the details on that.
Will the pin be the address so that it makes it easy?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3,
Your
4.
birthday, Chris, we'll do your birthday.
That's the one in my house.
Yeah. Good, all right, great, good. That's becoming more and more commonplace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What else? Great stuff is happening when I'm on your campuses. Yeah, Thomas.
I work at a campus to where they're finally starting to figure out money and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably been years and years of the making. Christian Life Center found out, they still have a large amount of money left in their account that they had got, from a grant, which grant money has to be spent in a certain time, and it's been sitting there, so we're about to get new carpeting. At the Christian Life Center. We're gonna be able to move forward with our cameras at our exit, and we're gonna put one at the back gym door and actually put a camera going into the garage and stuff like that. So Christian Life Center's finally gonna get a upgrade that's long overdue, because we finally figured out the budget. And
Yeah.
figuring out how to split everything up and what goes here and what goes there. So just even a shout out to SFM, it makes me look good at my job, to where I know I can reach out to SFM, because I'm at a place that doesn't do very good with paying their vendors money. But anytime I call SFM, like I know they're gonna be there for me, so it makes me look good on the job, like I'm figuring it out, but actually we're figuring it out as a team, so I appreciate it.
Awesome, great. Congratulations, that'll be awesome, that'll be a nice addition. Very good. Right, what else you got going on?
State wrestling tournament at NBA Wellness Center. You know, we host it for all private schools across the state of Tennessee, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all day Friday, all day Saturday. Classes are canceled Friday, and we'll have a massive crowd. And setup happens tomorrow, and even a fun one. Philip probably knows this one. We're going to use a single piece mat this year for the event, which is a big deal. Most mats are at least 3 sections, maybe 5, maybe even 7 sections. But we have a mat that's literally, I mean, how long is that thing? 20+ feet end to end.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Wow.
We had to do a trial run, get a lift out of the storage room, drive the bleachers in, and figure out, can we even get it through this weird, L-shaped storage room. So that's gonna happen, and yeah, it's a big deal for us to get to host that. A lot of people have been working with Sage and our on-site team and setups and things. So
Awesome, big event.
come see some wrestling.
That's right, awesome. Good. What else going on? I see the look on y'all's faces, and I know there's a lot, because you're going, there's a lot. All right, let's.
Grinder Pumps at Safe Haven
Yes.
are both working at the same time.
For now.
First time in 8 months, or something like that.
Okay, let's hit a couple other announcements. We are currently implementing a new payroll processing platform and HR platform. So QuickBooks, the QuickBooks piece behind the scene that you don't really notice, that manages your payroll, that's changing in March, and so is Bamboo. If you access Bamboo very often, that's going to change to Paylocity. This is not a training how to use it. I just want you all to sort of have a heads up, so that if you start to see some stuff or hear some stuff, you're in the know. So here's a quick overview of the Paylocity.
Your Paylocity employee portal. First, you want to download the app to your phone, or you can access the website on a desktop computer at access.paylocity.com. You'll want to log in using the company ID for the law's staffing of 178017. Then you're going to type in your username and
You
password.
can ignore those details, but
If you forgot your username or password, you can click on the help button or the show button. Once you click login, it'll bring you to your employee portal. On your employee portal, you're going to see everything that you need for employment with the laws. The first, you'll see the announcements that the company has. Then you'll see your employee personal information where you can update and view your employee record. You can update your public profile, which is what your coworkers will see about you, and you can update your emergency contacts. Then you'll see a list of company documents. These are available 24/7 for your review. And at the bottom, you'll see your application where you can configure this self-service portal to your likings. You can view your training documents, administrator training documents, and some other general information about the Paylocity website. In the middle column, you will see information about your pay. You can click the button to view your current checks, and they will be displayed in this opening right here. Since this is a test environment, we have blocked out that information for privacy reasons. You'll also see at the top that you can contact payroll@velaz.net if you ever need assistance about your pay. You can update your direct deposit accounts, view current checks, tax forms. You can edit your tax withholding deductions, and you can even estimate your future checks. The next tile is the time off tile. All time off requests must be submitted in Paylocity prior to the beginning of a shift for the day you request. In this tile, you'll see any available balances you have and any hours that you've used within the year. You'll also see the different types of time off that you personally accrue. You can click on the time off history to view any prior taken time off. The employment tile you can click on to see your employee status. At the top right of your screen, you're going to see your time entry tile. This is where the time clock will live because, again, this is
We'll continue to use
in a
Connect.
test environment. You cannot see it right here, but the clock in and clock out buttons will be right here for you. Just a friendly reminder, you must be physically located at the job site with the client in order to clock in or out. The system will prevent you from clocking in or out when you are not physically at the location. And all of your time punches must happen in Paylocity, regardless of if you write down your times at the job site on paper as well. You can also click on this Launch Time and Attendance button to see your prior attendance records, your upcoming schedule, and you can select to pick up additional shifts or additional schedules in the future. In the benefits tile, you're going to be able to see the different benefit options, benefit amounts for deductions. You can update your dependents and see any retirement plans available. Lastly, you're going to see the career tile. This is where you can apply for additional open positions. You can update your skills to show us what other jobs you might qualify for, and you can update your education. Outside of the employee portal, you will also have access to what is called Paylocity Community. You'll see that at the top of your screen. In the phone mobile app, you will be able to click on the pop-out menu from the side and the top, and you will also see this community button. When you go into community, that is where you're going to see some general company information, any sort of updates or announcements. You'll see some general safety topics that we post there as well, and you'll be able to view those at any time and interact with your coworkers. It's also a great place to get to know what's coming up in the future for the company. Right now, it doesn't show any updates because nothing has been posted just yet, but this is where you're going to find all sorts of fun information where you can interact with your coworkers. I hope this training was helpful for you today. Should you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out.
All right, that is just heads up. It's on the horizon. You're going to start to hear about it. And again, it's important that you all as the management team know a little bit about this before other people start hearing about it.
So bamboo's going away.
Bamboo's going to go away. That's right. That's right. And this will do everything bamboo does and more. Yeah, and more. Anything else, Javier and Michael? They're leading up the charge here. Anything else you want to add at this point?
Yeah, I think one of the big benefits is that you're gonna be seeing all the pay stuff, everything in the same application. So there's no more emails going out with these things. It's only one user that you're gonna get to your pay stub, even signing to see your 401k with the same user login, or HSA if you got any HSA or any, the benefits. It will be only one portal connection with only one login getting to there. So payroll and HR and benefits all in one site is going to be a big thing, right?
Will we be able to see our employees' PTO balances?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna, it customizes the way that we can allow the users to get right to see, like manager, they see their own people campuses, just nothing the confidential, but something that you can see more. Easy employees can see their own PTO, and the idea is that they requested and automatically will be updating in real time.
And
If
we
we got a
still,
balance and requested there, it will be deducted, they know exactly what they have, it's kind of.
and we still approve their PTO?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the same system, it will be requested, approved by supervisor, but then also deducting from the balance in real time. So that's gonna be one of the big improvements.
Yeah, so what we really need you to do is to let your staff know that this is coming, because managers will get a link next Monday, in theory, to build your Paylocity. So you'll get a login, that's how you'll create your profile. And then on the 24th is when we are supposed to send out, so that's a week from Monday, the email for all employees to start building their Paylocity profile. So that the first payroll that's gonna go through Paylocity is the March 10th payroll, so.
That's our goal.
That,
We're working toward that.
It may not all the tools may be functional when it rolls out, but we're gonna get payroll out. A lot of the HRIS management stuff is already, we're getting handbooks and all that stuff created, but that's the goal, is to have the first payroll go March 10th, and then the 24th would be when all of your employees get a link to register and create their profile. Do you have any questions about it?
Bamboo will be at that date, it'll be non-existent.
No, Bamboo's, we're gonna keep it open for a little bit, and we'll download all the information. We're gonna migrate as much as we can, and then we'll store everything else in a file.
Do we still get pay stubs emailed to us, or do we have to seek it out through the software?
You know, there might be a notification that you can set up. I haven't played with that part of it, that the app will push a notification that's there, but it's gonna be contained in your app. You won't get an email from
Yeah.
SEMA.
Once we transition to real time and velocity, there's no more emails, because QuickBooks is not gonna do more payroll, we've been doing.
But you could set up, get a push
I will be
notification.
notified.
No.
Yeah, it will be just like if you see in the application, you can check in the pay date, it should be there already, because he managed the payroll. So it's the same application managed the payroll, so the information will be in the whole, then we want to see it.
Yeah, and then you can also, you'll be able to change yourself if you want it to go to a different, like some people like to split their paycheck up into two different
Yeah, that
accounts. You can do that yourself now, you don't have to go through Javier, so it's just really a lot of, a lot of flexibility.
You can update your taxes if you wanna get, different bracket, single and single payments or whatever, they're gonna be able to, employee can do themselves in the portal. So that's a lot of improvement.
All right, just a heads up, it's coming, it's coming.
In the next few weeks.
We need, location for our 12 March manager meeting. Maybe McKendry has volunteered. Anybody else, possibility if that falls through?
This is not following on.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a location that we might use?
Yeah, I can check and see.
Okay.
Yeah, we had it in the film room, what, a few years ago, and it was at the
Yeah.
phone center.
Yeah,
It's
all right.
It's usually empty today, I can check on that.
Would you check? That'd be great, thanks. It's a 9 to 11.
We'll see if Father Ron wants to host too, maybe we can see if they wanna go there.
I know they have limited spots.
They do.
Thanks. Okay.
We could probably have the Fleming Center there, people.
But I might be
Okay.
spring break.
Maybe.
Okay. Fleming Center maybe, okay. All right.
We got beer bar.
That helps me. I'm gonna bug y'all until we get this nailed down. Okay, this, if you are an hourly paid employee, ignore what I'm saying. This is only for salaried people, all right? This is only for salaried people. Again, we've got multiple, right? We got multiple types of, we got technicians, we got managers, we've got custodial folks, service security, we've got lots of folks moving in different ways. There's a little bit of confusion for salaried people. All right, it does not work the same way as hourly people. So let's think about it this way. If you're taking time off, okay, you're going to take time off. What happens is you're salaried, right? So you're going to continue to get paid, right? If you take a week off work, does your pay get diminished by 5 days when you're on salary? No, it's the same, right? How about what we charge the customer? Does that change? if you're gone for a week, do we charge the customer the same, or do we deduct those 5 days?
We deducted.
Exactly right, right? That's why managers have to clock in and clock out, right? We only charge the customer when you're there. That's true for anybody, right? They're only charged for when you're there. So what happens is we then have an imbalance. The balance sheet, if you will, has an imbalance because we're paying you and we're not charging the customer. So when you use unpaid time off, it puts your account out of balance. What you need to be doing is using your PTO, paid time off, right? Not unpaid time for salaried people. Unpaid time kind of doesn't exist for you in a way. It really exists more for our hourly people. Okay, is that clear? Use your PTO, not unpaid time off, because it throws you out of whack. All right, now when you work, not to complicate things, but when you work extra hours, then that helps replenish that unpaid time off, that deficit that you create. And we want, it's the goal of SFM. It's one of our standards. We want a good work-life balance. As much as possible, we want you to be working 2,080 hours, just full-time work. You know, we don't want you working a lot of extra hours, nor do we want you working under. That's why we monitor what we call your over-under hours. Are you working too much? Or are you working too little? And we monitor that, right? But just a reminder, salary people basically don't use unpaid time off. Use your PTO instead. All right? If you have a question about that, Javier's a good person to ask if you got a question. And also just a reminder, we got cold weather coming again, so if you hooked hoses up to your hose bibs, get them unhooked. We got cold weather coming. If you've got backflows, you got to check. You know, I think Sunday night they're saying it's going to be in the teens, the temperature. So we're not talking about just a little cold, but a lot cold. So anything that you unprepped for the cold weather, put it back. Just a reminder. Okay. Michael has put together this really good training film that we've already shown to our technical divisions, because they're in all parts of your campus, just like you are and your custodial folks are. What we're trying to prevent here, the reason for this training and the reason for this policy is we're going into places, restrooms, we're going into locker rooms, even offices maybe where people might be, or private spaces. So we need to really, really be careful of the way that we interact with the population, with the population of our partners, right? We're trying to develop that sense of trust with our partners, and the best way to do that is just to be very clear about where we are and where we're not. So managers, when you see this, think about you, think about your on-site technicians, think about your custodial folks that this might all apply to. All right, here's the video right there.
Hi, I'm Michael McCord, Vice President of Operations at SFM, and I am so grateful you have joined me for this important training video. Thank you for taking this work so seriously. Just like the mission-driven organizations we support, SFM is committed to making the world a better place. This commitment comes with the critical responsibility of fostering positive and professional partnerships with our clients. Thank you for your continued dedication to SFM and the communities we serve. Together, we're making a difference in the world. Welcome to this critical SFM training on working around children and vulnerable adults. Understanding and adhering to the responsibilities associated with these interactions is crucial for everyone at SFM and for the communities we serve. That's why compliance with our code of conduct is absolutely mandatory, and each individual's commitment to these standards is vital. Following these practices not only protects children and vulnerable adults, they also protect you, your colleagues, and our community partners. I've worked in faith-based education for over 25 years, and I've witnessed firsthand the devastating toll crossing these boundaries can have on someone's life and on their community. I've also seen how just the appearance of something can ruin careers and individuals' lives. I don't want this to happen to you, and I certainly don't want this to happen to any of our communities. And I don't want to put you in a position where you might harm others. Let's work together then to be sure that that doesn't happen to any of us or those we serve. During orientation, you received a copy of our Code of Conduct around minors and vulnerable adults. This essential document outlines our commitment to healthy practices and behaviors. Any actions that violate this Code of Conduct will lead to corrective measures, from verbal warnings to potential termination. And in the most severe cases, violations may be reported to civil authorities. SFM has zero tolerance for any breaches of this policy, and we all must work together to maintain a safe environment for children and vulnerable adults. I think it's important that we start this training with a couple important definitions. First, when we discuss working around children, what we're meaning is anyone under the age of 18, or, and this is important for the work that we do, any student currently enrolled in one of the schools we serve. In addition to children, some of our organizations serve vulnerable adults. A vulnerable adult is anyone over 18 years of age who may need extra help from others to care for themselves due to a mental or physical disability, trauma, age, or illness. They may also be less able to protect themselves from harm, exploitation, or abuse. Some examples of vulnerable adults may include individuals experiencing homelessness, victims of violence, and those with mental or physical disabilities. SFM is committed to creating environments where everyone, especially children and vulnerable adults, feel welcomed and safe in the communities we serve. Now let's review the standards that all SFM staff to uphold to ensure our commitment to children and vulnerable adults. First, staff must establish and maintain clear, appropriate boundaries with minors and vulnerable adults. This means we must never be alone with these individuals on clients' premises or elsewhere. Staff should not work in restrooms, locker rooms, living quarters, or similar spaces when children or vulnerable adults are present. When entering a vulnerable space like a restroom, or perhaps a private apartment, office space, staff must knock and announce themselves and their presence multiple times before entering. When working within a space, others may be surprised by your presence, especially if you're like in a bathroom or apartment, a place where someone might not expect you. To limit this kind of surprise, staff must place signage or appropriate barricades indicating your presence and or the closure of the space. Please ensure that doors, blinds, curtains, or other window blockings are kept open while working in a room, especially if another individual is present. I know this may seem like a lot, but we have seen firsthand in our organization how children and adults can be easily surprised or even scared by the presence of someone they were not expecting. This is especially true if those individuals have experienced harm in their lives. It's always best to be sure everyone knows you are there and to wait until the vulnerable space is clear before beginning your work, even if that means rescheduling. I strongly recommend you plan ahead for these kinds of spaces. Talk to your facility manager or senior manager so that we don't avoid any delays. Under no circumstances may a staff member take or be with minors and vulnerable adults into private spaces out of view of others. If no adult restroom is available, staff should use a private stall when children are on campus. Staff must not give minors or vulnerable adults personal items, candy, money, or special attention. Social interaction with minors and vulnerable adults is limited to simple public gestures like a smile or a quick acknowledgement. Physical contact is strictly forbidden. I know we pride ourselves on being part of our communities we serve, and I know that we form relationships with the people around us. And so in some cases, it may be appropriate to offer a high five or fist bump. Under no circumstances, though, should we ever hug, put our arm around, or otherwise make bodily contact with a child or a vulnerable adult. Taking photos, videos, or other recordings of minors and the vulnerable adults in your communities will not be tolerated. SFM employees are not allowed to teach, supervise, or direct minors and vulnerable adults unless SFM and the partner organization have granted specific authorization for you to do so. Staff must abstain from alcohol, illegal drugs, or the misuse of legal drugs while working. Smoking, vaping, or the use of any tobacco product is prohibited on all the campuses we serve. Likewise, providing anyone with alcohol, tobacco, or drugs, or administering medication is strictly forbidden. This last item is essential for all of us to be aware of. All staff must report any illegal, unethical, or professional misconduct, including their own. It's crucial to report any suspicion of misconduct or policy violations to your supervisor immediately, including self-reporting, if you believe you may have or someone may have perceived you to have crossed a boundary. This step ensures that safety, maintains SFM's integrity, and protects all people involved. Remember, a single accusation can significantly impact your career, damage SFM's relationships, and harm others. We provide the tools, policies, and training to safeguard you, our partners, and those we serve. Adhering to these practices and remaining vigilant is essential. It's important to remember that under Tennessee state law, everyone is considered a mandated reporter. This means that any individual who has reasonable cause to suspect that a child is being abused or neglected is legally obligated to report it immediately to the Tennessee Department of Children's Services or local law enforcement. Reports can be made anonymously, ensuring that the reporter's identity is protected while the situation is investigated. Any awareness of illegal actions must be reported to civil authorities, the staff member's supervisor, and the facility's senior manager immediately. If uncertain about the legality or appropriateness of a situation, staff must consult with their supervisor, director of HR, or their senior manager. At SFM, we are passionate about our work. We work daily with a singular focus in mind, to empower mission-driven organizations to change the world. We understand that with this incredible opportunity comes significant responsibility. Ensuring a safe and welcoming environment for children and vulnerable adults is one of our highest priorities. We sincerely appreciate your efforts in making this possible and for being a trustworthy and professional partner to our clients. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any concerns, questions, or ideas about ways we can enhance the way we serve our communities. We're here to support you and our partners. Thank you.
You know, I have to watch myself this morning with all of the prettiness of it. Good job.
Mike, how many SFM employees do you have at Harpeth Hall? Custodial, landscape, maintenance, servo?
25, serve them, probably 30.
Yeah, 30. What would happen, Mike, if one of your SFM employees got into a situation where one of the girls felt like they were exploited?
It would probably look bad on the entire 30 people.
Look bad on? What would Tom and Jess be forced to do? What would the community mandate that they do?
Probably call you and Chris in first.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be bad. It may lose the contract.
May lose the contract. So we've got 30 individuals who now are nowhere for them to go. They're out of a job. Okay. And not only does it impact Harpeth Hall, but all of our other private schools, all of our other churches here what happened? All right. I can't emphasize this enough. Michael and I have spent a long time in education, and you know this gets pounded into our head, but it's a real deal. This is not a fake thing. You know, we've had situations, unfortunately, where we have inadvertently surprised a resident or surprised somebody because we're in their space or they don't know that we're there, and that can be a huge problem, right? The reality doesn't matter. The perception is what matters. And we have to do everything we can to ensure that we aren't perceived as getting in their space, right? As somehow exploiting them. So it's you as a manager, I've got to tell you, you're responsible to make sure that this message is clear to all of your employees. So what I'm asking you to do in the next month, we have a Spanish version of this. I will send you the link of the Spanish version. And I'll send you this link. It's also on our agenda. I want you to make sure that your staff has seen this. All right. And one of the things we've done for our technicians, we purchased some of these, right? Super easy to carry. You can put them in a tool bag. They roll up real small. They're not, it's not a big pole or a big sign or something we're trying to manage. I really encourage you to get some of these, to have your customer pay for some of these to have on campus. Clothes for maintenance, they got
Magnets.
what do you call them, little suction cups on there, or they've got magnets in there. You just put it on the door and everybody knows there's somebody in there. I don't know that an open door, right? Y'all are really good about opening doors in spaces, but that may not be enough. So I encourage you to get these. I put the link to purchase those on the agenda. Link to the sign is on the agenda so you can access this. I really encourage you to have some of these on campus. We got to do all we can to protect you, your employees, and the rest of the company. This is really important. Philip?
Yeah, just like two points. The first one is just that whenever we institute a new policy or do something that's a little bit maybe different than what we've done in the past, it takes a while for everyone to kind of get on board. And so I don't think anybody will intentionally forget to do this, but it does take some time to kind of get into the routine of, oh yeah, we've got to do this. And so I would just ask that you all help each other, right? So if you see any of our technicians coming on and they're in a space that we've talked about and they didn't put that up, we have to remind them. We have to be on top of them, right? And so we want to make sure that this is a common practice, but it might take some reminding as we get more used to doing this. The second thing, we talked a lot about protecting you, protecting the company, but the other side of this that to me resonates with our partners even more so is just that professionalism and trustworthiness that we bring. When they see us doing that, it gives them a peace of mind that we're out in front of these things, and they also are at risk too if something was to happen. So yes, it's protecting us and protecting our people, but even more so, it's building that trust that we have to have with our customers.
Yeah, I'll just add.
Go ahead and add.
I was just gonna add that I've handled probably dozens, maybe 25 or so claims of inappropriate behavior with children over my career. And not against me, but and sometimes they were legitimate. A lot of times though, they were situations that were misperceptions. And kids are kids, like kids do that. I've been in a stall going to the bathroom where a kid like crawls under the stall and shows up and stuff happens. And the most important thing when that happens is that you report it. Even if it's like the least, like the most minor thing, but if someone saw that, imagine I open the door and there's a kid in the stall with me, that I had nothing you could do about it. He was there, but what I needed to do was, report that so that there's a trail. So if something is said to someone, we have a record to say, actually, he reported this is what happened, and we're not reacting to it. Because when you start to react, your memories aren't as clear. It feels like you're being reactive and protective. And so just really be smart about when things happen. They will. There's no doubt they will. Report those things, and then take all the precautions that you can, because that will help. And I've also reported defects, like I've probably done 10 reports of defects too. So if that happens on your campus or your
it defect?
Department of Family and Children's Services.
Jimmy?
So bathrooms are a pretty tricky thing.
Yeah.
And there's issues in that bathroom sometimes, with water, you gotta get in there.
Agreed.
In your statement, they're talking about bathroom right there, you said when are present. The wording there seemed to say present on campus or present in the bathroom?
In the,
They say
in the space, when children are in the spaces that we
Yeah.
need to be in, yeah. So y'all are great about knocking and announcing yourself, propping open the doors when you're in there, but I really encourage you for your custodial staff, your on-site maintenance staff, to get signage like that, and make that available to your campuses, all right? And you gotta make it happen. We've done it for our on-site technicians, our roaming technicians, pardon me, but we need you all to manage that for your on-site folks, all right? And if you are even working with vendors that aren't doing this, you might encourage that as well. All right.
Can I
Yes.
add a thought to it? You know, uniforms. You know, I think that's one thing that I think was missing, was, you know, do we have our SFM ID badges? Are we in a uniform? Is it cold and rainy that day, so we're using our personal coat? I think some of this drives us as a company needing better uniforms for all staff, people, roaming techs. You know, do we have raincoats for our guys to wear? So when they enter a building, they're, you know, they don't look like they're on the roadside. You know,
Hey, I've been seen.
But just an example,
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
something I think NBA, we all have our ID badges, our lanyards, they like for that to be seen, the students are supposed to be wearing it, and I think that's, to me, a critical thing. Yeah, you think about my McKendree days.
Yeah.
Of, you know, a badge with my name, of hopefully a recent photo. I think that's one thing our company needs more of also, is recent photos of all of us for IDs. But that way, you know, it's out there at least who we are, who we're representing, and that's step one of a comfort level from a customer. You know, at McKendree, as daycare parents knowing, oh, that's Tyler that I hear about all the time. You know, they see the face and they know kind of who I am a little bit. I think that is a good step.
Absolutely.
These relationships and partnerships on both sides, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, good.
And
Very
that's
good
been,
point.
you know, a lot of the technicians and vendors we use at NBA, I'll use as a good example, they're two-man teams. That's one thing that we don't always do as a company, a two-man team. Customers probably don't want somebody just standing there guarding the bathroom, but sometimes it's better than a sign, and there again, it's a, you know, a face and a uniform to say, hey, we're working in here right now. That's not always possible, but I think there should be some grace and understanding that, you know, while stuff is going on, you need two guys.
Yeah.
Even if they're just standing there.
Yeah, good. Very good points. Bill?
When we're at NBA, they have a lot of resource officers, and they always assign one to us when we work exterior doors, and they're with us the entire time. And they run interference for us, so we can work on the doors, because most people don't care if we pop them open, they're still coming through. And
That's a good point. If you can, ask, you know, maybe the kids can help you if you're in one of those situations and you're working by yourself and you're working on the exterior door, bathroom, residence, whatever. Justin, come on up. We're excited to hear from Justin, and this is just an example of the expertise that Bill and Justin bring to doors and their understanding of doors, and in this case, key systems. So come on up. Do you need me to do anything, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Morning, everybody. Don't want to waste a whole lot of your time with this. I want to just hit a few major points, and if there are questions, Bill or myself, probably love to sit down with any campus manager, spend an hour with you to help you understand how your campus is keyed, if that will help you in any way with what you guys are doing. Every campus is unique. We have some campuses where you carry around a wad of 50 keys and you jumble through them to figure out how you get into each room. Most of our campuses have a true master key system where you can hand somebody a single key or perhaps 2 keys that will walk you through everywhere you need to go. Very convenient for us. It's also can be very dangerous if those keys get out. But to start at the beginning, basically you're going to hear 3 different terms when you're talking about the keys that we discussed that you use on your campuses. You have your master key, which theoretically would work every door on a campus if you've been set up that way. You've got submaster keys, which typically will work perhaps a building, or they may work all of the mechanical and electrical rooms. Then you've got what are referred to either as change keys or individual keys, which are going to be just for often for one room or maybe a small group of individual rooms. Would encourage you when you're handing out keys to people, the easiest thing to do is for anybody that comes on campus that needs access is to hand them that master key. Just give it to them, you know, they can get where they need to go. Your life is simple that way. But you can be very vulnerable when you pass out that key. Understanding what kind of key you have. Is your key a key that can be duplicated at Walmart? Some of our campuses have keys that you can get just about anywhere. Is your key a key that is not available at the hardware store or Walmart, but somebody can go to a locksmith and get with no questions asked? Or do you have a truly restricted key system that is patented and somebody cannot take anywhere to get made because it's secured through signature cards and through supply companies that do not allow this to be out, and for the blanks or the keys to be issued to anybody? Like Curry Ingram is a good example. They're on a restricted keyway that strictly flows through McCarthy Jones, our hardware provider, and they have confidence that if that key leaves campus, they may leave with that key, but they're not getting copies of it made. And so that's something to consider. Most of our campuses don't have truly restricted keys. A lot of them have keys that are going to be hard to get, but just be careful what key you're handing out, because if you hand out a Grandmaster key and it does fall into the wrong hands, you're probably not going to realize there's a problem on the first incident, maybe even on the second incident. There may be 3 or 4 incidents that pop up before it turns into something major, and there's been a severe security breach of your campus. I mean, this could involve stealing property after hours. It could be, again, getting into these vulnerable spaces, and we are providing security officers and all these other means of keeping the wrong people out. But something as simple as a key disappearing off campus for an hour or two and copies being made can compromise an entire security system for a campus. If you have burglar alarms that you set at night, this will mitigate some of that, because the door is breached by a key. It's still going to set the alarm off, but a lot of our campuses do not have alarms that they set overnight. So somebody can come in with a key and just wreak havoc, potentially. And if it does come to that, the expense can get high. You can spend easily $75 to $100 per door rekeying a campus, and if you've got hundreds or 1,000 doors on your campus, that cost can escalate very quickly. And once that needs to be done, it needs to be done urgently. The campus is not going to want to pay the bill. SFM is not going to want to eat the bill, but somebody's going to have to make a decision quickly, and a lot of money is going to need to be spent to solve a problem that could have potentially been mitigated by not handing out that Grandmaster key. If you have a vendor that needs to get all over your campus, by all means, hand them out a master key if that's what they need. But if you have a volunteer or a vendor that just needs to get in one room, try to have an understanding of your key system, and we'll be glad and happy to assist you with any of this. Some campuses have key maps where they have blueprints that they can look at, that you can see what key will go to each door, so you can actually pass out an individual key to a room. Some keys have their master keying chart where you can correlate this with the blueprint. Some campuses don't have any of that, and if you don't have an understanding of your system, again, the easiest thing is just to hand out that master key. We all do it, we've all done it, and there's reasons for it, but again, just if we can do anything to try to keep the passing out of master keys down, I feel like that is the one thing I can accomplish from talking to you guys, is just trying to keep that master key from floating around any more than is necessary, because it's just such an easy thing to do, but it creates a major vulnerability in all of our security systems that we are putting in place, both with physical security, guards, ballistic coatings on windows. Just like a door can be defeated by propping a rock in it, it can be defeated by a key disappearing off campus, not being accounted for. And that's basically it. I just want to just emphasize the criticality of the key control, and just we want to offer ourselves as a resource to you guys if you want any deeper understanding of what you have, if there's anything we can do to help push that forward for you guys. We are always available to help you do that.
Awesome. I got a question for you. I have keys to multiple campuses. I know my guys have keys to most of the campuses that they go traveling around down to, and I think those are very important keys to not only know about, but to keep safe, because they're driving around in a truck that could be robbed or something.
That is true, and one thing, myself and Bill both have, we've got, what called, bank deposit bags, they're zipper bags, they're tough bags, you just about can't stab them with a knife, I mean, you'd have to fight to get into one. They've got, high security key locks on them, and we keep all of our keys, badges, locked in that zipper bag. That would be a worthy purchase to, to put on each of our trucks if they have a quantity of these keys. I bought two a couple months ago for me and Bill. They were about $25 on Amazon, so not a very expensive purchase.
Could you share a link to that to John Foreman?
Absolutely.
That might be good to send out to city managers.
May I add one quick thing? He's right on all this, not that, but if you really want more security than a bag, if you got a truck that 10 people drive, only one person needs to get in that. You can buy small gun safes. I know guns are a dirty word, but.
We call them G's, not guns.
How about a nug?
Nug, okay.
You can buy a nug safe, bolt it to the vehicle. They're programmable with biometrics. You can use fingerprints, or you can just assign a code number, and then you can lock the key in the box. It's more money, about $120 to $150, but they have a key override in case you fire the employees ahead. The battery operated, they can be upgraded, but they're a step above the bags. They're a higher cost factor. But if you're truly worried, I know y'all have a lot of different people run the trucks and the machines. And if you need more control, there are certainly great.
Good.
I have one in my service truck. It's kind of concealed inside of an area, and it's just for documents and stuff.
I also, to help me keep organized of which campuses have what keys, I have color-coded D-rings that I use so that I don't have to label them that says Curry Ingram Academy if somebody were to find these keys. I just know that Curry Ingram is my green one. Interestingly, it's kind of their colors here, right? And then NBA might be a red one, et cetera, et cetera.
Great. Other questions for Justin?
Yes, Jimmy?
Not so much a question, it's, managing who gets access to those keys is kind of difficult. Because when you do proper management of it, the emotional part of it seems to always override, no, we don't need to be handing this key out. And I almost tell my cathedral, I almost tell them have SFM be the bad guy. We're the key manager, and that if you have to tell someone, no, you can't have that key, let the key manager tell them that. But right now, I'm just handing out great grand master keys left and right because some priest complains and blah, blah, next thing, the whole system compromised. And that priest feels obligated, oh, I gotta do it because he wants it. Well, not if SFM's a key manager, because I'm gonna say no. So anyway, it gets difficult to manage, your key system when the emotions kind of
Yeah, and there could definitely be egos involved. People feel more important when they're carrying a master key than when they don't for whatever reason. But yeah, just keeping it down. And if you can get somebody a badge versus a key, always go that route. A badge is much easier to turn off than rekeying an entire campus.
And we're about to rekey. We're gonna have to rekey Catholic Center. I bear myself, we created what, in 2005? And we've been managing it, and that's a long time to keep the same key in plan, but in place. But eventually it gets compromised, and you can't. You lose accountability of who the heck has the great grand master key.
15 years out of the key system, a school this size has done well.
Yeah.
Our large church. And you really do need, this place has been well overdue for a redo because of their previous habits of everybody being getting master key.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna happen.
And we have a lot of campuses that have not been rekeyed for 10 to 15 years, and we would love to discuss, working a rekey into a capital budget for an upcoming year, just because, as Bill said, it's not fun work. It's not anything that anybody wants to do, but to keep security in line, it is a worthy thing to do every 10 years, 15 years, more or less, depending on the security habits of the campus. But yeah, just to let a key system go forever without rekeying definitely will lead to vulnerabilities. You know, we've had campuses before where, you know, we found out, you know, a student was given a key back when he was a student and working as a yeah, they were given a key just as a helper, and then they're 30 years old, still walking into the campus 15 years later, you know, to use the weight room. So, you know, while that's not nefarious, it's not a good look either.
How many of our campuses have a key audit? Okay, let me ask you this, how many of our campuses have a routine annual door inspection? You do? Okay. Is that something, I mean, that, to me, would make sense if you're doing like a door audit, maybe you could also do like a key audit? Is that something you guys are capable of doing or wanna do?
We have to have a starting point, you know, first.
I'm sorry?
Definitely, you need a starting point, you know, we can audit what they have, but, you know, we never know what's already out there. But yes, an audit is definitely, you know, if you start a new system, then having an audit would make more sense than trying to jump into an existing system, because you don't know what's already out there.
Okay.
But I would say yes, doing a key audit.
So it's kind of blends into the security world, and I remember when I've looked at it, one or two campuses, and shockingly, when you go in and you try to find their key log, it stopped like 6 years ago, and then it's a massive mess, right? And it's a huge liability, and people don't really know where to start. And so, like, to me, that would be something that might be worth, we could talk about it offline, but that's a big could be a big mess. And again, you don't really know, you don't know until something bad happens, and then they're like, well, who has these keys? And you go back and you're like, oh, no, we haven't been keeping this updated for 5 years, and then it's a big mess. So it might be something we toss around. Yes, sir.
I know during the pandemic, Holy Family, they were serious about keeping the facility piped down and sanitizing and cleaning it. And Steve Fulton taught people in the gym, somebody had a key. We rekeyed every exterior door on that campus. They didn't want to do all the interior because it was way too expensive, but they couldn't stop them. They didn't know who would have it, and they didn't want to arrest the group because that was a little extreme. And so, you know, the quick fix was rekey 15, 20 doors on exterior doors, but if you don't get them all, they're gonna sneak in that one you managed to forget. And that's happened, you know, we've done it several places in the quick fix, but it's, you know, not handing out the key and getting the list, and when people, you quit, not just us, but teachers, employees of the schools, if they don't turn their keys in, and they're notorious for not getting them back. The people we rekey.
I tell you what, I think the bottom point is, we got experts, and you want some consulting, on your key systems, talk with these guys. They know the systems, they know what's going on, they're your absolute best friends in this case, so I really encourage you to do that.
One nice thing to respond to your point, Philip, about auditing the keys and keeping control of the flow out of keys. The way I did it when I was the locksmith for University of Tennessee is we serialized every key that we sent out. So if you had a GMK, the GMKs were serialized number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when you signed out a key, that key was signed out to an individual. It was noted on a log that they got GMK, key number 1 of the GMKs, and when they quit or their term was over, their year was over, they were expected to turn that key in, or they paid a $100 fine, and that went a long way towards getting all those keys. And if you didn't get one returned, you knew exactly who to go to. They had, you know, it was literally serialized directly to that person with a log with names, and we definitely don't take it to that extreme with any of our campuses. You know, we don't have any that have serialized keys, or to my knowledge, that use key logs of recording who got what key.
I'll just say Father Ryan used to in 1991 when Chris Cordy was a facility manager.
All right, we're gonna close this up so we can move on.
Thank you.
Mike, what do you want to do?
Yeah, just real quickly, I was,
Thank you, Justin.
yeah.
Really,
move on, but what Justin has also worked on is drafting this, procedure for preventive maintenance on our doors and door hardware systems, and, we'll send the link out, so it's in the agenda, so you can, the idea is that we wanted to provide a resource that you can use with your leadership on campus to get budget approved to do these sorts of things. I was with Tyler last week, and he, spoke in, he said, our job is not to save customers money. Our job is to provide expert advice. And when we provide expert advice, it necessarily saves them money, right? Because preventative maintenance is one of those things. If you're maintaining your physical plant well, you're not gonna be surprised by big fixes. If you're PMing your HVAC systems, they're gonna last longer. You're not gonna have to replace them as quickly. If you're doing that with your doors, lots of use, those items really wear out. And if you do preventative maintenance, you're going to save them money. And you're gonna have to spend money to save money, and that's just the nature of work. But what I've heard in my first few months here is there's a lot of emphasis on saving money. And I really want us to embrace what Tyler said, which is that we're about expert advice. We're being a partner with the organization. And in doing that, we will save the money. But if our priority is to save money, then we'll cut corners. And we'll create systems that don't last as long. And it ends up costing more money. And so we really want to push preventative maintenance across our campuses. So Ed and I have been working on a same kind of project for HVAC preventative maintenance, and just trying to give you some resources so you can advocate for that on your campus. Because I know budget's a budget, and people don't want to spend money on that kind of stuff sometimes, but we want them to understand the return on investment when you're doing those kinds of programs. So be looking out for this and for other forms of preventative maintenance that you can use on your campus so we can take care of our customers better.
Yeah, we had a couple managers I spoke with in the last couple months, and they said, we don't need to do door PMs. I check the doors and I make sure that they're functioning properly. That's not a door PM. Okay? That's not a door PM. And the amount of the damage that could happen because we're not lubricating equipment inside, because we're letting the closers, the fluid drain out, that we're not doing PMs by just looking to make sure they close. So this is we've had door PMs on our recurring work order list forever and ever and ever, right? But this helps you understand, this document that's linked to the agenda helps you understand this is what a door PM is, this is why we do it. It helps you understand that, and if your customer has a question about why we're doing this, it helps them understand too why we're doing this.
And I just noticed in that there's the daily inspections that you do that you just,
That's
alluded
right.
to. But then there's inspections by qualified technicians that happen on a less frequent basis.
Yeah, so you still have that role. Ed?
On that note about PMs and skilled technicians, also don't need somebody claiming that a PM was done when no skilled technician was on that site for that at all, because then the customer thinks that somebody that knew what they were looking at was looking at it when it was really just somebody walking by going, yeah, it's still running.
That's right.
That's a great point.
I've encountered that a couple of times with HVAC units and hot water tanks and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not PMing, is it? PMing is a skilled technician,
Can I
that's
say
right.
one quick thing on that?
Yes.
I did this last night because I didn't have the exact number. Out of what we consider our 55 bigger accounts and more frequent accounts, 43 of the managers refuse to let us do or will not do door inspections.
Okay.
Only 12 accounts in the last year are letting us
Are doing the door
do them
PMs.
freely, and their reasons are their reasons, and I don't want to beat them up or bash them, but that's not.
That's right.
Something like 80-something% are not doing things.
That's right. Yeah, so these PMs are critical. It's what the customers expect us to be doing for them, right, to maintain their equipment. So, we're not doing it. Not everybody's doing it. And be thinking about that. If you're not sure about it, read the PM, and of course talk to Bill and Justin and get an understanding. You don't have to do, if budget's an issue, you don't have to do the whole campus right away. Right? Do it this quarter, do this part of the campus, this quarter another part, this quarter another part, this quarter another part. You don't have to do it all at one time.
The door PMs are broken to fire exits exterior entrance exits, and then interior classrooms. So we try to do just a handful.
That's right.
And typically, they don't take a day.
That's right.
And it's not a big expense.
That's right.
The less frequent we do, the more equipment you find failing.
That's the problem, isn't it? Okay, we're gonna, Pat, you want me to click through, or what do you want me to do? Or you wanna?
You better do it.
All right.
So yeah, we got a update coming up to SFM Connect. Nothing major, but one of the things that's gonna change, and you might have already noticed this, that the major divisions are up near the top of that drop down when we create a new work order. So the last part of that is once that update comes in, not specified will be the default work order. So, if you're in a hurry, it won't. So everyone's looking forward to that. And we'll be able to use PDFs instead of just JPEGs for pictures, so.
Can I add to that? So working with our technicians, what would be most helpful is use those numbered, when you want one of our skilled technicians to respond to something on your campus, use the numbered main working divisions, because each of them are gonna start managing just their primary buckets, because right now they're having to check work orders across multiple categories, and just to try to increase response time and effectiveness, we're just gonna limit those numbered. You can use the rest of them. I know some of you use that for sorting methods for the data. You can still sort by keyword, but what I really need is for that 1 through 6, I think, is for you to use that for our working divisions. And then I think I'm gonna create a site-based technician button. I was thinking about this, Pat, so that, because someone, Father Ryan, there was an HVAC issue that they handled on site, but it got categorized as HVAC, which could have triggered a work order for us. So I think when something gets assigned to site-based, that might be an additional. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We're just trying to streamline so technicians can find the work and get to you quicker so we can respond to your needs.
This is what Michael and Pat are talking about. So this first one is, it says carpentry and then down to plumbing. So if you want one of our techs to respond, you use that, right? If you want your own on-site people to respond, you can put general labor, custodial, whatever. All right.
So if we want to, if we got a project and it's gonna need 3 different divisions.
Each of the tasks, you'd use a different division.
Yeah, you had tasks and then you can assign that task to a division or to a person.
And are these 1 through 6 denoted in tasks?
Right, so in tasks.
No, you can only assign one division to a work order. And the task is assigned to the technician.
Person, yeah.
Person,
So you'll choose like the primary division, and then under the task, you can assign plumbing. You should assign it to Jason or Vince. But when we get into those kinds, just a heads up, to me would be great. If we got a multi-trade project, then that's the project I wanna know about. Vince and I will be coordinating those kinds of projects.
Okay, so.
You may have to do multiple work orders if you have multiple trades.
I got you. Or else, just one work order, we can, and then let you guys know if, hey, this is in carpentry, but I need an electrician on it too. I got you.
All right.
Oh, so the main change is gonna be that page you just showed up, is
pardon
the
me.
main page. And it's gonna turn into this right here. So what is disappearing is, on that right-hand column, all those links to the work orders that you use from here, those are gone, because all you need to do now is just go over to work orders on the left-hand column, which is the new SFM Connect. So those we're just eliminating a step.
So that's the page we're gonna see.
That's the page you're gonna see. So, now, everything else we should be using is here, entering timesheets, timesheet reports, other listings, equipment, setting up and maintaining the routine schedule. That's all still available. And could you pull up the one with comparing the two?
Yep, sorry.
Yeah, okay. So, we're showing the old one, in addition to the work orders, assigned work orders, that's all in.
Is that going away? Cause those, the assigned work orders, or if you assign pulls
Yeah.
up just the ones that I put under my department.
Yeah, you can sort that in the new.
I know, but that one brought them up, I mean, just click one button and they're right
Yeah, you
there.
gotta click two times instead of
Yeah.
one time now.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, we're pretty sure these are never used, so update work order, view search work orders, I'm talking about the left-hand column there. Submit completed work, all those ones are just kind of redundant, I don't think anyone uses them. If you do, if you see something that you use and depend on, that's going away, we need to know about that.
Well, the view and search work orders, say, 2 weeks ago, I closed out a work order, and I needed to go back and get some information. I
Right.
used to view and search work order and go back and pull that information up.
Yeah, that's available, all that sorting and searching is available in.
In the new, where?
Yeah,
In
you
the
just
new-
hit, go look for closed, cause you can change what category,
Yeah,
when you do a work order search.
So work order-
Yeah,
yeah,
go
show filters, yeah.
Okay.
All that filtering is much more
Okay.
options
Okay.
available to you now.
Or you can just search by keyword too,
Yeah,
so,
that's what I
Yeah.
did.
yeah. Some people in New Jersey.
Yeah, it'll probably take a little bit of time to get used
Yeah,
to it.
there's one other thing in the work orders that's kinda odd. If you're on the main screen and you put up there the work order, let's say Hartall repair toilet. You come down there and you hit assign a work order, I put Andrew in there. And I didn't, copy it or anything, and I go in the next queue that, tells where I put repair toilet. And usually your top 5 work orders that you use the most are still, they populate in there. And when you click in there and then you take your mouse out of that bracket, the repair toilet's up there, but then it just disappears. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
How about at the end of this, we
I'll
show
show
that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Good.
There's one also there, create legacy reports. Now that's staying on there and I'm not sure it needs to be. It's just, all you do when you click it is get a timesheets by client, which we already have. For now it's staying, but, that might go away soon as well. But anything else up there, that's disappearing, once this new screen comes up and you're missing something, just let me know and I can steer you through that.
One thing disappearing, when we do purchases, we've talked about this in the past, if you buy something and do the purchase and assign it to work order, the next time we buy something, that work order disappears on the purchase tab. You can't find it. You gotta go back in, reassign yourself to the work order, and I know a few people have had this, where the only way we've been able to add a second, I go buy something at Home Depot, Eric, I go back tomorrow and put something else on it, and it's gone. And you have to go back in, reassign the work order to yourself, and add your name as another, you might be on there, if you buy 10 products, you're on there 10 times.
Yeah.
And then you purchase, you can add your purchase to it.
That is something, now, these are kind of weird
I
technical
understand, I'm
issues.
not picking, I'm just,
I know, but
that's been a tough one to work around.
it would really be a huge help. Whenever that happens, let me know. And remember, what is the work order that's, you're not seeing?
It happens with any, I mean, if you have a work order, when we add a purchase, we go buy something, stick on your seat, do that, in the purchases tab, not the work.
Right.
And then you go buy another one a day later, and just.
For the same work order.
The same work order, we just have to buy more stuff, whatever that is. And you go back to add it, and it's just not there, then you have to back out the purchase, go into the work order, reassign your name to that work order, then go back to purchase, then do the thing again.
Bill, if you, let's hold, just talk to Pat afterwards, 'cause we're running short on time, we've got another meeting at 11. So,
That's fine.
if I'm sorry to
No,
cut you
I'm
off.
not.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, if you got any other questions about Connect, if you have errors that happen, let Pat know. Let Pat know. He's the guy who manages the transition. I want to show you a tool that is on your Windows computers. Now that's important. If you use an Apple computer, this won't work. If you use a Chromebook like I use, this won't work. But I think for managers, especially technicians, this can be a really valuable tool. It's built into Windows, and I think it's worth knowing about. On the agenda, the instructions, I can't show you the agenda right now, but it says use Windows logo key, the Shift key, and S key at the same time. So this is Google Maps or something up here. Window key, Shift key, and S. All right. And up pops, you can maybe see it changed a little bit. Up here at the top, it's giving me the options. Do I want to do a video of my changes, which you probably won't do, or take a picture? So I'm going to click take a picture, and then see my cursor is an X.
I think you missed it.
Oops, thank you. Come on, there we go. So I'm going to highlight this. All right, so imagine this is a map, or imagine this is a, oops, did my window key come up? Window key Shift S. All right. I'm going to change this. I think we're getting something weird. I'm going to go to,
It's probably putting it right into your files.
well, it should open it up. All right, I don't use Windows.
I think that's just a setting for the sniffing tool.
Say that again?
It's a setting in the sniffing tool, whether it shows it to you immediately and takes over the screen.
Okay.
when you snip something.
It is, I don't even use Windows anymore. Is this how I get to Windows programs? More?
It's right there.
All, is it right there?
That bottom left, right by paint.
Oh yeah, thank you. This, you can also go to your, you know, where you list all your programs in the Windows, and you can go to the snipping tool. It's under S, it's alphabetized. All right. All right, so there is, we're gonna do a new one and a picture. All right, and I need to go to settings, don't I? That's what you all told me about. Nope, there it is. All right, so there is what I snipped. Okay, so now I have an image I can manipulate. It could be a part of your campus, it could be a map you're creating, it could be whatever. But sometimes it's nice to be able to take an image of something, you know, and put an arrow on it and send it to the vendor and say, this is the part I'm looking for, right? Whatever. Here's your settings. Where is your settings? Right here is your settings. So you can make some changes to it. Automatically save original screenshot. Anyway, you can see, I'm not gonna bore you with all the details, but you can play with some of this. One of the options you can change that I like on a Windows computer is the print. You can make it so the print screen button, when you press that on your keyboard, the PR, TR, whatever, PTR, SCRN or whatever button, it automatically pulls up the snipping tool. That's in the settings. You can make that happen. But here I can make some drawing, so there's my highlighter, I'm gonna make it red. All right, now it's red, and I'm gonna change the size a little bit, and I wanna say, here is the roof line where we need new shingles. All right, now I have an image. It's not a great image, but now I've got an image that I can save. I can click over here and save, and I can include it in a text, I can include it in an email. Some of y'all have gotten emails and texts from me that have these images. It's a great way to create a map on your campus. Go to this door. John Pyrick uses a different program, but you could use this to create a map for vendors. Here's the door you need to enter. And of course, save that, and then you have that. Anytime somebody's coming and you want to show them how do you get to the maintenance office, you can just re-click on that image. So I would just simply click save as, there, title it, and then save it wherever I want to save it up here. All right, it's not a computer class, but I just want you to know that's available, it's worth playing with, and I use it very frequently.
Clearly you do.
Yeah, I use it, here's the problem, I have a Chromebook, so I can't use this tool because I have a Chromebook.
Well, Chromebook has a code too. I just just pulled it up. I was like, I was curious.
Does it do window snipping?
Yep,
Oh.
Control Shift F5.
Oh.
I'll take a screenshot of,
I think print screen.
Then does it let,
and then.
but then can I manipulate, can I put arrows on it and all that stuff? That's what I like.
Yeah, and then Mac also has Control Shift 4, right? Command Shift 4, I mean. Yeah, Command Shift 4. Yeah, this is really great. Yeah.
I just know as a manager, I'm using that a lot. Tyler?
So I use Snipping Tool all the time.
Yeah.
Multiple times a week. The two things I love it for, when I make HVAC changes,
You make what
I
changes?
make changes to the HVAC unit.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I snip, screenshot, whatever you wanna call it, the original settings.
Oh.
So I see all my discharge temps, things going on, then I tweak stuff, and then I have an A and a B to sit there and look at 30 minutes later, to compare what changed, supply temps that.
Love
and
it.
work orders. Cause our work orders don't print real well sometimes, and like, I get an email, like, we got an IT request that came through our work order system. So I snipped the part of it that mattered, copy, paste, boom, threw it in an email and sent it on.
Perfect.
They don't need all of our stuff, I just need them to see that box and who requested it. So that's
Perfect.
two things I use it for all the time.
Thanks for those real world examples. Anybody else use a snipping tool for stuff? Yeah. Tell
I
us.
use it, a lot as well. One of the things I'll point out is when I have a roof leak, I point to where the leak is on the roof
Love it.
specifically, and that gives them a heads up of when they come out where they need to be.
That's great. Saves you having to go up on the roof and point it out, right? Give them the map. Great. Philip?
I like to snip the headshots on Instagram, mustaches, and goatees on different people.
I find it's a pretty great tool just for like communicating something is so much faster with an image and an arrow. Like, hey, I think you should change this word or whatever. I get here's what the website looks like, and I say, well, this looks weird, and I'll circle it. I use a Chrome extension called Awesome Screenshots that I don't know if that's one you use, but John turned me onto that. I probably use it every day, 5 times a day, I would say. I use that more than I use any Chrome extension.
What's it called?
Awesome Screenshots. Yeah, if you've got a Chromebook, that's what you'd have to use.
Was the video, like, you can take a video of you doing something on the computer?
Right.
I feel like that would be a great way to learn the work order system.
Yeah. That's
Figure out how to do stuff on the work order system.
Yeah.
If someone could just go in, it's like an MOP.
That's
A
right.
mop.
Yeah,
You can
that's
make
right.
mops with that.
Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could record how you make changes to HVAC settings or whatever, if you wanted to say that as part of a mop, yeah. Good. Okay, we're gonna jump on just 2 more topics. I appreciate your patience. This is a recap of something we did in May. Maybe in May it seemed less important, but that is remote monitoring devices. We just a month ago had some really cold weather, and we had a series of campuses that had backflows. One of my campuses, backflow that I had checked a week before that the heat tape was working, and it was working. And guess what? When the cold weather came, it popped the GCFI or GFCI, pardon me, and I didn't know it. Well, we knew it when the water shut down at the campus. So we had great plumbers. They took care of it, fixed it. But if I had used one of these monitoring systems at their campus, it would have helped. So I really encourage you to consider places on your campus that you really want to know, is it getting hot, cold, wet? Because you can put these monitoring devices in place very, very inexpensively. All right, when I'm talking inexpensively, for $100, you could have a couple remote monitoring sites, or you could have water and temperature. By water, I mean a water leak or temperature for $100. And if you want to add another water one, it's another $20. Another one is 20. So we're not talking about much money, and it really helps you with those remote spaces. I want to this is a list that Chris put together based on input from y'all of just some options out there, right? Some require Wi-Fi, some have their own connection to cellular data. There's lots of options. Chris did a really nice job of talking about price, benefits, pros and cons. I just want to show you a couple screen prints. I use YoLink, by the way. That's what I use personally. in a couple places, but I've also used it on one of my campuses. So this is Holy Trinity Montessori, that image there, which I did a screen snip of, by the way. And this is showing it's 100 feet. We needed to know in this garage, right, what the temperature was they had the heat gone out in this garage. It's 100 feet from where the hub is sitting to the garage. So 100 feet, no problem. In fact, we put these sensors in multiple places throughout the campus, right? They have a Wi-Fi. That's all it takes is the hub. That the hub doesn't have to be the garage doesn't have Wi-Fi to the garage. The hub had to have Wi-Fi. And then you can put sensors wherever you want, and the range is incredible.
And how much is the subscription?
0. No subscription because you're just using your Wi-Fi, right? It's not a cellular kind of thing. They're tiny, they're about this big. Here is just an example of a screen print. This is what I can get on, this is a temperature and humidity sensor that I have, one of many that I use. But you can get a history of what the temperature is. We use the humidity setting because at Holy Trinity Montessori, they shut the buildings down for the summer. They shut them down, and every August, whatever, they would come back, and guess what? Stuff was musty and moldy, and we're like, well, hello. So we put these humidity monitors in, and now we can monitor what's the humidity in those unused spaces. But again, temperature, there's water sensors. You put them under places that might be leaking, or if it leaks, is a real problem.
Can they alarm you if it hits a certain?
Thank you, Chris. It's like we planned this. Why, yes, they do.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, so I have it set up to get an email and a text if it goes outside of the parameter that I've set, or if the water starts leaking. I get an email and a text message. I highly encourage you to use these. They're very inexpensive. The battery on the ones I'm talking about, everyone's different. I can give you my own experience. They're supposed to be 3 years. It shows you, I think, I don't know if you can see right here, the battery tells me it's about half done. And when the 3 years is up, I take out the old battery, put the new battery in, I get 3 more years. So they're really, really usable. I would encourage you to find one system that works right for you and is priced right, and then use that throughout your campus. Don't have 6 different systems. That's kind of crazy. But I can access it from my phone, I can access it from a desktop computer, whatever. All right, that's just a review of what we had talked about a while back. And the last item, we once a year or so try to talk about phishing and spam. We've been the victims. SFM has been the victims of this before, where we've said yes to something, or seemed like we said yes to something, and we got light bulbs or we got stuff delivered at a super high price. I think the phone call, my sense is the phone call spamming is down, and the email spamming and phishing is up, is my sense. I don't know if you all still get as many phone calls from folks. But let me just give you this quick review. Here's an email Pat got yesterday, the day before, and it said, I want to reward some of our great employees, and could you email back, and because I need your help getting some gift cards or something for them, right? Now, might seem obvious, of course all the spam thing pops up, which is great. It might seem obvious, but guess what? We've as managers have been victimized by this and have ordered the gift cards using our SFM credit cards for whoever who needs our help to do this. So it's hard to spot.
You maybe can't see this, but this is an email from John Foreman to Pat. That's
best regards.
It's a Gmail account.
John Foreman, CEO. I mean, it's got the whole thing.
You didn't need those Best Buy gift cards for
just give them to me. Yeah. But anyway, again, this is not hypothetical. Pat got this the other day. So just a couple things to think about. What is phishing? Phishing.
Real quick, can you go back to that? If you're not sure, see how this is coming out, this is already warning you, that's great. That at least gives you an idea, like maybe you should look further. And then if you look next to John Foreman's name, it has
obviously an email that's not John Foreman's, sometimes they come in and they don't show you any of that. So what I would do, if it looks at all like, hover your mouse over where it'll say John Foreman's name, and then that email should pop up. Okay, so it won't always come and make it really obvious like this. So you might have to, if it just looks weird, hover your mouse over that where it says his name, and then it'll actually give you the address or the email that it's coming from. And then worst case scenario, if you don't know, reach out to John P. Or somebody else in your leadership to.
Or call the
Or
person
call
that
John
sent it.
Foreman, yeah.
Call them at the known number that you have for them and say, hey, did you ask me to do this? I do that frequently.
John and I guess you get these, we're both sort of administrators on our Gmail domain. So we get notifications when your account is being attacked. And it happens, what would you guess? Once or twice a month?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe once or twice a month. Google tells us your email, your Gmail account is being attacked by whomever, bad people. Phishing. Phishing is really, I mean, think of it as phishing, right? There's somebody sending stuff out to get more information about you, about your site, your credit card, could be anything. Hey, we just need, we'll look at some examples. But we've all probably seen these. Here are some examples. Oh,
Yeah,
you can't, all right, thank you. CIA won't let me show those examples. But we've all seen them, right? Anytime you get an email asking you to clarify, hey, this is PayPal, what was your account again? Or what's your phone number? Or one more time, what's your address? We forgot where to send this. Any of that kind of stuff should be a giant red flag anytime somebody's asking for follow-up information on the internet. That's phishing, all right? Spam is a little more malicious maybe, or causes more damage. You're clicking on stuff, and it's not that you're giving them information. You're clicking on stuff you might be downloading. Malware, viruses. So you got to be really, really careful. And just like Philip said, you can hover over the attachment many times, and it will tell you what it is that they want you to download. If you click on a button, put your cursor over that, and it should pop up what it is. Is it a website? Sometimes you can look at the website and go, that's not it. So anyway, a lot of times you'll get the Gmail's pretty good about putting the spam in there. I'm a big fan of when you get spam, mark it as spam, right? That helps everybody. All right, and as Philip said, here is your key. Always is this right here. Is looking where who sent the message. Is it legit? Right? Even if my name's on it, it could say John Foreman, but it's some random email address. And if it doesn't show it, as Philip said, you just hover over it and it will pop up. That is critical before you respond. I'm not saying every email, but if something at all looks suspicious, with the warning signs of suspicious sender, threatening language, request for any kind of personal information, unusual links or attachments, be very, very wary of clicking on attachments that you don't think look right or seem right. Poor grammar or spelling. If it's coming from me, that would probably look normal, but be worried about that. How to protect yourself? Just quickly be skeptical. Verify the sender. Don't click on suspicious links. Use strong passwords. This link, which probably won't work here at Kurt Ingram because they have a good system. Oh, it does. That's a link I put on here. PC Magazine is a computer magazine. It's been around a long time. This is listing the best, some of the best password managers. This is really a better, if you click on that 5 more, I think that's a better list of, so I use Bitwarden myself. Lots of people use LastPass. But I tell you, what that allows you to do, you're asking, why are you talking about password managers? That allows you to have some really creative passwords for different accounts, and it just keeps track of them for you. And you go to that site and you can access your passwords from your password manager, and you know what those passwords are. I'm not gonna get into detail how they work. If you don't know how they work and you might be interested, John, myself, Michael, any of us would be glad to sit down and help you with that. But I highly encourage the use of password managers. If not, we all get lazy, right? And, you know, John Foreman 123 is the password to everything. And somebody steals that, they get into all kinds of accounts. So the password manager allows you to be creative.
You know, same-wise, if you receive an email from HR asking to send your personal information over, your deposit, social security, stuff like that, just, you know, keep in mind with that.
That's right, that's
Not
right.
really-
You might start seeing Paylocity requests.
Just text messages and with links and stuff, so a lot of times we start looking at a lot of.
So this is protecting you, but it's also protecting your customer, because like I said, we've made some bad mistakes in the past with regard to purchasing stuff for customers. That was bad.
I got a text message that says I'm evading toll roads.
Patrick.
That's all over.
I got it too.
Yeah,
Patrick.
so if you got that one, I don't drive on any toll roads.
It's a good thing I never been to Massachusetts. Almost split down.
Is that, yeah, so.
But yeah,
It's
I
just
mean,
anything like that.
we're inundated with them, and when you're busy and you don't have time, and you're trying to get through your emails, and it's easy to just click on stuff.
I get them all the time that says my Amazon package can't be delivered.
That's right.
And it's like, well, most people have about 30 things in their Amazon queue. So.
That's right, that's right. Okay, anything else?
I was gonna say with AI, the other nefarious things that are happening are, imitation of voices. You think you're talking to somebody, you're hearing from somebody that you know, and you know their voice and it's not them. Also, they're monitoring emails oftentimes and waiting for us. You're expecting to do a transaction or something, and your email is being monitored, and all of a sudden somebody takes over and says, okay, go ahead and give me that information. And you think you've been talking to somebody the whole time, and it's all of a sudden a new player is in there stealing information from you or stealing money from you. You really have to be careful, especially when it comes into transactions.
Have a safe word.
Have a safe word, truly, for your family members, yeah. Popcorn. Just kidding, that's not my safe word.
We got one. Okay, hey, I know,
Thank you.
listen, I know everybody in this room is super busy. And I know it took a commitment to get here, and I appreciate you being here. You share your expertise with each other. We've had Justin and Bill share their expertise with us. So I hope it's been a valuable use of your time, but thank you for making the commitment to be here. So thanks so much. All right.